be beaming, I be booming down that block. Everywhere you go, you know they know I'm hot. I be beaming.
What's up? What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. Pull up a seat. Hope you enjoyed the content. And before we get into this video, I want to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. Go ahead and tap that bell while you're at it so you're notified anytime I drop a brand new video, go live, or schedule a premiere. All right, y'all. So I'm back with some good food, and I'm also back with a story time. I know it's been a minute, okay? So today I got some rice, I got some salmon, and I also got some spinach. Very, very simple. And my rice is topped with some extra sauteed onions along with Wani's butter sauce, y'all. So let's dig in because your girl is hungry. All right, I'm so hungry. First meal of the day, I'm breaking my fast. Let me get y'all some rice. Y'all, I put some extra onions up in here. It's good. Ooh, look at that, y'all. That's a good ass bite right there. I knew that was gonna fall. Yeah. Ooh, that bite was so good. I knew I was gonna drop something though. Y'all know how I am. It was just too good to be true. Ooh, yes. Y'all, I love putting like, you know, butter sauces or sauteing like onions or mushrooms, peppers, putting it on top of my rice. I love that so much. Sometimes that's all I want to eat. It's just rice topped with stuff. And I haven't really been eating a whole lot of rice lately, so this feels like a treat. So what's up, y'all? How y'all been? How y'all feeling? What's going on? Let me know what's going on. Hit me in the comments, y'all. Happy Pride. Okay, happy Pride, y'all. It is graduation season. It is so many graduations happening. Shout out to all the graduates. And I'm so glad that people are having a chance to experience their graduation this year. I know it wasn't like that last year, year before that. We got a lot of graduates in my family too. A lot of kids is graduating. They growing up, y'all, man. Don't nothing make you feel older. Did somebody graduate from high school? Like what? It's crazy. Y'all, I'm smashed this food. I'm so hungry. Let me slow down. Let me slow down. Y'all, it is wash day. Okay, it's wash day. So I threw this bucket hat on so I could look decent. And I started feeling like Luda, y'all. Ooh, ooh, sticky, yicky, yicky. That's all I was thinking when I had this on. I was cracking up. But it is definitely a wash day. I gotta wash my hair. I've been putting it off for like a week. So I'm gonna wash my hair after this video. I'll probably vlog while I'm doing it. I want to give a shout out to everybody that came through and supported Good as Can Be. Y'all, I am sold out. I'm sold out. And the reviews, I set up reviews on my website now, y'all. So when you make a purchase, you'll get an email asking you to review the product. So the reviews have been rolling in, and I am so happy that y'all are enjoying all of them. Yeah, but y'all showing the all-purpose a whole lot of love. So look, I'm gonna be restocked again at the beginning of July. Okay, I'll let y'all know when that happens. But if you want notifications, if you want an email, that's also where you'll get discounts too. Go ahead and click the link below. As soon as you go to my website, there will be a box that pops up that asks you to join the newsletter. Okay, so thank y'all so much. This was the right amount of food. I feel like on camera it looks like a lot of food, but it's not really a lot of food at all. That was like a cup of rice, a cup of spinach, and like 4 ounces of salmon. One other thing too, y'all. I'm back with the podcast. I took off for 2 weeks while I wasn't feeling well, but I'm back. I dropped an episode last Wednesday. Y'all check the episode out. It's about pick me culture. It's about pick me culture, the role that it plays in social media. It's about just a whole bunch of shit. I tell y'all about my struggles with pick me culture, and it's a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really a thing, and I'm glad I talked about it, and I'm also glad that I shared my story about how pick me culture affected me and the things that I did in order to be chosen, y'all. So check the podcast out. RHONDA'S REHAB on any platform where you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple. But the links will also be below, y'all. Check it out. And leave me a review while you're there. Okay? If you enjoy the podcast, leave me a review. I use sushi rice, y'all. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm not saying it tastes like, there's not a huge difference, but there is a difference. Mainly in like the texture. So when I took my first bite of the sushi rice, I couldn't tell the difference between like regular like white rice, right? Now the difference that I can tell though is the way that the sushi rice heats up. I like it way better than regular rice. I love the way that it actually heats up. I hate eating leftover rice, like white rice, just regular rice. I hate it. But this, sushi rice, I could do, because I made this yesterday. This is actually leftovers, but I like the way that it heats up. Surprised I didn't waste nothing. I'm gonna get a little sip of water, and then we can go ahead and get started with the story time. Before we get into the story time, if you're watching for the first time, welcome. This is a fictional story time. It's not based on anything or anyone that I know. Just something I came up with, having a little bit of fun. I want to say, please use your imagination, y'all, just like I use my imagination. You know, you might hear something that makes you feel like that would never happen. You know, in a fantasy world, anything is possible. All right, so that's 1. 2, if you enjoy the story time, please be sure to share it out. And 3, please be sure to watch the ads. That applies to me and any content creator that you support here on YouTube. You have no idea how big of a help that is. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the story time. All right, y'all. So the main character of the story is Davina. She's in her mid-30s and she's a product manager, and she's in a relationship with Troy. He's in his early 30s and he is a chef. Now he's working to get his own restaurant, and they've been together for about 3.5, 4 years, you know, typical relationship. You know, they met through mutual friends. At first they didn't really like each other, but they kept on dating to kind of see if things would change, and they started to hit it off, and things just took off after that. There was fireworks and sparks, and they got in a relationship, and they've been together ever since. And they're like best friends, you know, in their relationship. And, you know, they're very like-minded in terms of like their goals in life. You know, Davina is very supportive of him wanting to be an entrepreneur, having his own restaurant. You know, it takes a lot to run a restaurant. And also too, working in a restaurant, it's a lot of long hours, you know what I'm saying? And she has just been by his side the entire time in terms of like his vision, what he wants to do, you know, what kind of food he wants to serve, when he wants to learn how to make new cuisine. Just 100% supportive of him and his dreams. And likewise for her, you know, like I said, she's a product manager and she's really enjoying it. You know, she just started making 6 figures, and, you know, she's really enjoying the way that she's positioned in life and how she can kind of pay off her debt and her student loans. And so right now they're renting a place, and they have been saving up to buy a house. That's like their next thing on their list. You know, but they have picked out like a wedding date, their colors for their wedding. They picked out baby names. Like, they are locked in, really trying to do this life thing together, you know. And they're both like very busy people, but they always make time for date night, and they talk throughout the day, and just everything is good. You know, everything is good as far as both of them can see, right? So one day, you know, Davina comes home in the middle of the day, which is something that she never does because she's always working. She's the kind of person that works through her lunch. If she does take a lunch, she's working at the same time, like she's working at her desk eating, constantly, you know, returning phone calls, emails, in meetings, you know, just putting the final touches on projects. And she constantly has something to do. So it's the middle of the day, like 1 p.m., right? And she decides to go home. And it's like, you know, wanted to just take some time away from the office and wanted to go home and grab a couple of things. So she goes home, and when she pulls up, she's surprised to see Troy's car. She's like, like he didn't say anything about, you know, like him being home, because he also like is usually working around this time, right? So she goes in the house, and to her surprise, it's like boxes, bags everywhere, right? And she's like, what the fuck is going on? But she like doesn't see Troy. And she's like, Troy? So she's calling out for him, and he appears, right? He comes from the kitchen, and he looks surprised. And she's like, what's going on? Is everything okay? Like, what are you doing? I mean, he has all kind of, y'all, it's massive boxes, like big ass boxes that you get from like Home Depot, Lowe's, like moving boxes. You know what I'm saying? They're everywhere, and like trash bags full of stuff. What's going on? Like, are you throwing this stuff away? Like, what's happening? So in the middle of all of this, just this out of this side, like door or whatever, like leading to like the hallway, a woman appears all of a sudden, and it's Kia. Okay. Kia is her hairstylist. And she's like, what are you doing here? Like, what is going on? Like, she's really confused, like so many thoughts and ideas. And, you know, she's trying to be rational about it, you know, like trying to be calm, but it's like, I mean, what's happening? Like, are y'all together, or is something going on behind my back? Like, and so she like F all that, right? So she just like lunges at Kia, and Troy grabs her and it's like, yo, like, come on, like, we're not gonna do all that. Like, give me a chance to talk to you. But she's like, yeah, like, we need to talk. I'm asking you questions. You're not giving me answers. What's going on? Why are these boxes in the living room? Like, what's up? Like, what is going on? Okay. And so he like tells her to go outside. Go, if you step outside, I'll talk to you. And so she does as he says, like, all right. So she goes outside, he closes the door behind him, and she's like, what's up, Troy? Like, what's going on? Why is Kia in our house? Why are these boxes in the middle of the living room? What's going on? And he's just shaking his head. Like, okay, you shaking your head, but you're not saying nothing. I need you to use your words. Like, what's going on? I was gonna make this quick. I wasn't expecting you to come home. Make what quick? What are you talking about? I was just gonna get in and get out. Get in and out of what? I just can't do this no more. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so okay. You don't want to do this relationship. That's what you're referring to. The relationship where we have a date on a calendar. We put down deposits. The wedding we're supposed to have. You don't want to do that anymore. I just can't. Like, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. It's not for me. I'm sorry. Okay, so why is Kia here? Why is not one of your boys here? Why are your brothers not here? What is she doing here? Troy, why is Kia here? She's been cutting my hair, and it's just things that she's asked me, and the way that she's like looked out for me, and the way she has me thinking, and the way she has me feeling. So you and Kia are a thing? Is that what the fuck you trying to tell me? So you didn't even have common courtesy to have a conversation with me, number one, but then you gonna mess around with my hairstylist behind my back? Okay, so to fill in the blanks a little bit real quick, y'all. So Kia has been Davina's hairstylist for the last 10 years, all right? And y'all already know what the things that are said when you're talking to your stylist, all right? A lot of stylists are damn near therapists, right? So Davina has confided in her about everything, their relationship, her plans, her desires. They done talked about sex. They done talked about everything, travel, money, depression. They done talked about everything under the sun, right? And, Kia decided that, she wanted to make herself more valuable. So she wanted to not only just, style hair, she also wanted to learn to be a barber. So she, needed to pick up some clients to start practicing. And Davina is the one that suggested that Troy start going to her. So Troy started going to get his hair cut, right? And, Davina wasn't always around when this happened. So one thing turned into another. They started having conversations, hanging out, and here we are, okay? Now Kia and Troy are an item, okay? So now let's get back to the story. So she was like, so you and Kia are a thing. He's like, we are a thing. And I know I know that shit is foul. And foul? She like, let me get up out of here. Like, look, I can't go to jail. I cannot lose my career. I cannot do none of this shit. So I need you to make sure you up out of here within the next 2 hours. I'll be back. And yeah, I'll be back. So she gets in the car and she can barely compose herself and keep herself together. Cause it's like, one thing is, it's like you dealing with these two things, okay? These very big things that your dude is leaving you, up and leaving you without having a conversation. You don't even know what happened. You don't even know what really went wrong. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't expressed his unhappiness, nothing. And not only is he leaving the relationship, he's also started something brand new and been messing around with your hairstylist, right? So she's just like taking this all in, like laughing, but crying. And she picks up the phone, calls her best friend, and her best friend is like floored, right? And, you know, the good thing about this all is that, you know, they're in between. They were getting ready to like renew their lease for another 6 months because they're saving up for a house. So, you know, she's not tied down to a lease. And she's just like, yo, so calls her best friend, tells her what happened. Her best friend is like, bring your ass over here right now. Like, I'm at the house. Come here now, right? So, you know, she goes to her best friend's house and just falls apart. You know what I'm saying? Her best friend is comforting her, you know, telling her that she didn't do anything wrong. Like, you can't beat yourself up, because Davina feels like she's taking responsibility for the fact that Troy and Kia even met, like that they were spending intimate time like that, like that she should have been around. And she's telling her like, no, like if Troy was going to be unhappy and like leave, that shit was going to happen either way, whether it was with Kia or somebody else, or even if it wasn't nobody else. If he's unhappy and couldn't communicate that to you and wasn't willing to do the work with you, there's nothing you could have done. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't beat yourself up. You know, he owed that to you. That man should have had a conversation with you and told you that he was unhappy, you know, and who knows how long he's even been feeling this way, right? So, and she just beating herself up. Like, could I have supported him in this way? Could I have said this, done that? She like, you got to cut all that shit out. Like, that man has made his decision, and you know, this hurts, but you're going to have to sit with your feelings, deal with your shit, and you're going to have to find a way to move on in your own life. Like, that's just what it is, you know? So, like I said, she didn't have a lease on the apartment. So, you know, he gets all his stuff out. She comes back to the apartment a couple days later. You know, she hires movers, gets her stuff packed up, gets her stuff put in storage, and she stays at her best friend's house, you know. And her best friend, of course, is more than welcome to have her there. There's more than enough space. She feels at home. That's like her second home anyway. Her best friend is single. So, you know, her best friend can really dedicate a lot of time, and she doesn't have children either. So her best friend can dedicate a lot of time to Davina, you know, what she's going through. And, you know, Davina is, you know, processing her feelings, allowing herself to feel, allowing herself to cry, allowing herself to be sad, allowing herself to look at old pictures and question certain things and stuff like that. And as the time goes on, you know what I'm saying, she starts to get in a, you know, like in a better place. She starts to feel like she's coming back to herself. You know what I'm saying? So as Davina really started thinking about it, you know, she was just like, damn, like, I'm glad that shit happened. Like, me and Troy, we look good on paper, but we ain't got no business being together. We really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, things have just shifted so much. Sometimes I feel like I am not as attracted to him because I really don't know who he's become. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that he hasn't been using his words to like really let me in to who he is and where he's going and what he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he wants the restaurant, but something else felt different about him. And maybe that's because he was messing with Kia. I don't know. Maybe I was feeling her energy, but I mean, she couldn't remember the last time they slept together, which is not a good thing. But again, like, that attraction, that pull towards him, that interest in him had changed. It has shifted. But, you know, she's just like, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it makes sense why we're not together anymore, right? So she's having all these realizations that she's reflecting, because you know how it is. It's hard to see certain things like when you're in it, but she's reflecting like, damn, like, man, you know, she also thinks about how hard she was pushing and going for his dreams. And like, yeah, he was being supportive, but not as supportive as he could have been. He dropped the ball on a lot of things, right? So she's just like, okay, like, all right, this is what it is, right? So she's like, okay, cool. I'm about to change everything about my life. I don't have the relationship anymore. I'm about to go get me a loft apartment, because she didn't get a loft apartment because they wanted a family. You know what I'm saying? They wanted the space to be able to start a family when they were ready, you know? And she was just like, okay, so I didn't get my loft apartment. All right, I'm gonna get me a loft apartment. I'm about to go get me another job. I'm switching careers. I'm switching industries. I want to make more money. You know, I'm at the 6-figure mark now. I know I can make even more. I've made myself valuable at my current job. I'm gonna move to a different, you know, industry. I'm switching all this shit up, right? So she really puts herself out there and, you know, revamps her resume, like is reaching to her network, you know what I'm saying, calling around. She's on LinkedIn, she's on Indeed, like she's applying every single day, like, and she's just tapping into her network, right? So all of these different opportunities start rolling in, you know, she starts interviewing like crazy, and, you know, she's getting job offers left and right, you know what I'm saying? But none of them aren't, she's not really in love with the offers that are being made, you know what I'm saying? So she still kind of playing the field, and she ends up finding this loft apartment. She's getting ready to move in. So everything is just really moving in her favor. You know, she's feeling good about herself. And so eventually she does find a job that she loves. It's the, you know, the health benefits are right. She can be hybrid. She can work, you know, it's a hybrid situation, but she can be full-time remote, unlimited PTO. Y'all, she got stock options. She got all kind of shit going on. She got a $30,000 increase. Like everything that she wanted is in this role. So she takes it, she accepts it, and she's starting in 3 weeks, right? So before it's time for her to start this, you know, to start this job, you know, she really wants to take time and travel. She wants to do a little bit of traveling, and she tells her best friend that she wants to take a solo trip. And so her best friend is like, look, okay, it's a lot going on in the world. Please just tell me you're not going to leave the U.S. And so her best friend is like, I mean, is the U.S. any better? You know, jokingly, she says that because of all the shit that's been going on. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But she's like, look, I'm not going to go far. You know, I'm not a solo trip kind of person, but I want to just go somewhere by myself, clear my head, and just really just tap into me and celebrate me and who I am and where I am and how I made it through this storm in my life and just how I'm about to go into this next level of my life. I really want to celebrate that. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do it with anybody else. I want to do it alone. And so she's like, all right, so where you going? So she decides to go the next state over. She's like, I'm gonna go to the next state over. I've never been, you know, I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the bars. I want to have some good food. Like, I just want to have a good time. And so she was like, all right, bet, just turn your location on. Give me your location. That's all I ask. And I hope you have a good time. So she gets everything set up. She books her hotel, y'all. She books this luxury 5-star ass hotel. Okay, got concierge. She has a view, like it's a beautiful view of the beach, like everything. You know, it got everything in it. When she walks in, there's champagne, like everything. Okay, top of the line, everything. She was like, I'm going all out on this trip, right? So she hops in her car, drives to the next state over. And, you know, sure enough, the concierge is there. She gets checked in. The champagne is waiting on her. There's a robe laid out. There's the slippers. There's everything. Anything she could want is right at her fingertips, right? And she's like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I deserve, right? So she goes in, takes a shower. She hops in the robe, and she's sitting on the edge of the bed, drinking champagne, just really thinking like, damn, like I really busted my ass to create this life. You know what I'm saying? Like the odds were stacked against me. My family life wasn't the best. My childhood life wasn't the best, but I wasn't, you know, that wasn't enough for me not to make it in this life, right? So she's really just taking in the moment of like being proud of herself and never giving up, and you know what I'm saying, like just the lessons that she's learned, and she just expressing gratitude for everything that's happened, right? So y'all, she goes and does all this adventurous shit. She's on ATVs. She does a cigar rolling class. Like she just does all kind of stuff in the city. She goes snorkeling. Like she's doing everything. She don't know how to swim, but she's like, I'm not letting anything stop me. Anything that catches my eye, anything that's on my radar, I'm gonna do that shit. Okay. She goes zip lining. She does all this stuff. She afraid of heights, but she was like, I don't care. I'm doing everything. Like I'm in this moment. I'm in a city I've never been in before. And I just want to do a bunch of things that I've never done before. I want to do something different because I'm turning into a different Davina, and I want to fill that up with experiences I've never had before, right? And so nothing is stopping her. Everything she's afraid of, none of that shit is stopping her, right? So she's sending, you know what I'm saying, pictures and voice notes to the group chat. Her best friend, is like texting her throughout the day. Her social media is on fire, like her stories, everything, right? Like she popping, right? So it's one night that she's bar hopping, right? She's bar hopping, and as a single woman by herself, of course, she has to be mindful of everything, watching her drinks, watching people and how they moving and how they acting and talking to her and shit like that, right? So she's bar hopping, you know what I'm saying? She starts kind of early, like 8 o'clock, and her goal is to be home by midnight. She ain't even trying to be out late like that. She was like, I want to go out for a few hours, have a good time, and I want to come home. I don't want to have a super late night. I don't want to be super hungover or nothing like that, right? So she's out drinking, bar hopping, meeting people, all in their pictures, they in her pictures, like just all kind of shit, just talking, right? right? So she's not quite drunk. She's a little bit tipsy. So she goes to this bar. Surprisingly, it's jam-packed, but she finds a seat. So the bartender, she makes her drink or whatever. She gets a Manhattan. She's drinking it. She's looking around. She's feeling good. Like, she's looking good. You know what I'm saying? And then surprisingly, another seat becomes available next to her. And there's this man that kind of like swoops in. Now, she can just tell, just quick glance at him, that he's a lot older than her. But she looks at him real quick and continues drinking her drink, minding her business, people watching, about to order an appetizer. Like, she's just in her own little world, right? So, you know, the guy, you know, gets her attention and is like asking her questions, you know what I'm saying? And so they start to have this casual conversation, and they kind of crack a couple of jokes or whatever. And, you know, they got this little banter going back and forth, you know, and she could tell at this point that he's now flirting with her. And she's thinking like, this man is definitely not somebody I would date, because he's just not her type. You know what I'm saying? He's at least 50 years old. And she like, ugh. But then she has that internal conversation of like, we gonna do things different. So she like, fuck it, I'm gonna be open to it. I'm gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna flirt with him, and we just gonna have fun. That's all this is. It's just innocent fun, right? So they start talking. He orders her some more drinks. He's paying for the drinks. They share an appetizer together. They're cracking up. Like, he's talking about his family. Like, he's talking about like his siblings or whatever. And, you know, they're just kind of having this exchange. Like, it's not too deep though. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting too personal with each other. They haven't really even exchanged their real names. Like, her name is Davina, but she told him her name was Dee. He hasn't really said his name. This is just super casual, very, very light. And even when he talks about his siblings, he just makes a very quick reference, and that's it, right? So they're talking and talking and talking, and now it's like about an hour and a half into their conversation or whatever. And, you know, the guy is like, so, you know what I'm saying, what you doing next? And, you know, what's after this or whatever? And so she makes a comment to let him know, like, you could be doing me next. You know what I'm saying? Like, she says that to him because she wants to make it very clear. Like, if he want to get down, she's down for everything, right? So he's with it. So next thing you know, they end up at her hotel. Her hotel is right around the corner. They go to her hotel and they just get it popping, y'all. They kissing all on each other, you know, kissing, making out, all in the middle of the bed, the whole shebang, right? But in all of this too, he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out the powder. You know what I'm saying? He pulls out the good stuff. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't say it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And so he snorts it up in front of her. And like, she's not judging. She's never done this before, but she's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, you know? So he offers her some. She does have a little bit of hesitation, but she's like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So she just snorts it right up, y'all. Snorts it up, gets that rush. And that just adds to the sensation, how they were already feeling. She pops open another bottle of champagne. Like, they are just going round after round, just having a good ass time, right? So by the next morning, she wakes up. She has a horrible headache. She can barely fucking see. Like, her vision is blurry. She's trying to get herself together. She finds her phone and she's just like, yo, like, what happened? And she's looking around. You know, she remembers that this guy came back to her room, this older man, but he is not there. There is a note that says, I had a good time. And he's just like, you know, had a good time, you know, on to the next adventure or something like that. Like, he leaves a quick note, doesn't sign his name, whatever. And she's just laying there laughing at herself in the middle of the bed. Cannot believe that she did this, you know, like, had this one night stand with this older man, you know, to sniff some powder. Like, she just like, girl, like, you doing too much. But you know what though? This is exactly what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I wanted a vacation full of a whole bunch of shit that I have never done before. I wanted to live a little, step out of my comfort zone. And that's exactly what I got, right? All right, so vacation comes to an end, and now it's time for her to get ready to start her brand new job. So she goes to her job, you know, she meets with this woman in HR. This is the woman she's been communicating with. This is the woman who has set up all her interviews and stuff, and she's connected to the director. So the director is who she actually interviewed with, right? So she interviewed with the director. So at this point, she hasn't met anybody else, you know what I'm saying? So the director is talking to her. They're taking her around, showing her where the restroom is, where the break room and stuff is, showing her where different activities take place. She's meeting some of her other coworkers. And so they're just like, taking her around, you know, showing her everything. And eventually they make it to this office and they tell her that, you know, let me take you to your boss, Gordon. You know, we're gonna take you to Gordon real quick. And the door is closed. And so they pop the door open, and to her surprise, it is the older man that she slept with on her trip. And she cannot fucking believe it. So they both looking at each other like, oh shit, but it's like they trying to keep it together and be professional. And so, you know, Gordon rises and stands up and it's like, hey, it's Davina, nice to meet you. We've been really excited about you and what you can bring to the team and the department. And hey, you know, He's just like, I'm sorry, this is like not the best time, but I'll come around a little bit later and grab you and we can catch up. And she's like, okay, yeah, no problem, right? So the director, closed the door and they continue going on or whatever. And so she gets to her workstation, right? Gets to her workstation and she's just sitting down like, what are the fucking chances? Like, I can't believe this, right? So she's texting her best friend, telling her like, girl, guess who my boss is? Telling her what's going on. And of course, her best friend can't believe it. She's just like, what? I mean, like, how? What are the chances, right? And she never knew who her boss was. She never knew his name. His name never really was said because she knew she was coming to talk to HR. That's who was going to, kind of guide her through her first day. And then, like I said, when they were on that trip together, when they hooked up, he never really said his name like that, right? And for all they knew, they both thought that they lived in that state, right? So they didn't even know that they didn't know anything about each other, right? So she's just like laughing like, girl, only this shit would happen to you, Davina, right? So she's chilling, getting things set up, setting up her email, setting up her phone stuff or whatever. And she gets an email from Gordon's assistant to, come over to Gordon's office. So she gets this email and she goes over to his office and she knocks, tells her to come in. And, she closes the door behind her and she sits down and it's just awkward silence. And so, she's just kind of like, so, did you want to tell me something about like my role or expectations? He was like, what I expect you to do is keep, what we did quiet. I expect you to keep that to yourself. That's what I expect. And she's like, same. Like, I mean, look, I had no idea. Okay. I had no idea. I had secured the job before I even came to the state or to the city, on vacation. Like, this was just a coincidence. All right. So look, I don't want to ruin anything. I'm not going to say anything. He was like, look, as far as I'm concerned, this never happened. And when he says that, she sees his wedding ring. She sees the pictures of his wife, his kids. And she's like, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it never happened. All right, we can agree with that. But I mean, are there things you want to tell me about my job so that I can be successful? And he's like, yeah, I'll make sure you get all of that. Like, my assistant will get you everything you need. And yeah. And so she's like, all right, fine. So she gets up, goes back to her desk. So like a week or two goes by, she's at the office, getting acclimated to everything. And y'all, Gordon has been trying to make her life a living hell, okay? He's been leaving her off of emails, off of invitations, updates. Her access is messed up. Her badge is messed up. She needs just certain equipment. She needs just certain, like, what I'm saying? Just like basic office supplies, things that they're making things very, very complicated for her, okay? Very complicated. So Davina is just frustrated. She's overwhelmed. She feels alone. Like, she doesn't feel like that she can go talk to HR about this. And she's really just trying to be patient, like hoping things will change. Really even kind of just hoping that Gordon's assistant will be helpful. But even his assistant is like taking her, sweet time responding or not responding at all. Like, she's being very, very short. So she's like, well, clearly Gordon has said something to her because, like, I mean, there's no reason for her to be treating me like this or whatever. So it's just like a living hell. It's a very hostile work environment. So she goes to the assistant again and is like, look, I've been trying to get on Gordon's, calendar. I looked at the calendar and it's all booked up. Can you get me in as soon as possible? And she was like, Gordon doesn't have anything until like another 3 weeks from now. And she's like, look, I just need 15 minutes. She's like I said, he has, there's an opening in 3 weeks. And so she's like, fine, can you put me down on his calendar, whatever. So she secures this whatever, sends her an invite. She accepts it. And she's just like sitting in her office, frustrated, overwhelmed, at her wit's end. And it's like, yo, like, this is not what I signed up for, right? And so next thing you know, we go to Gordon's office and Gordon, gets this email notification and it's pictures of him and Davina, okay? There's some very explicit pictures, all right, of things that they're doing, including them with that powder, all right? So, Gordon immediately picks up his phone and he calls Davina like, get in my office right now. And so she goes to the office and, she walks in. She was like, I thought that might get your attention. He's like, what are you doing? Like, why do you even have these pictures? Like, what is going on? She's like, look, I'm just as surprised as you are, okay? Look, I was going through my phone. Apparently, we took these pictures. I don't remember taking them. And I deleted them, but they're still in my deleted folder. But now I feel like I'm glad I still have them because clearly I need them as leverage to get your attention. Why are you treating me like this, okay? Look, I came here to do a job, and that's what I'm trying to do. And look, you've been leaving me off of meetings. I've been left behind on things, left out of it. I don't even have what I need to do my job. And that's all I really want to do. Can you help me do that? And he was just like, okay, why? I need you to get rid of these pictures. She was like, I'm not getting rid of shit until I get what I need. All right. And while we're at it, okay, so I went through a negotiation process when I got the job offer. Look, I hate to have to do it, but I will send these pictures to your wife. I will send them to the entire distribution list at this company. I don't care at this point. I want all the money that I asked for. Y'all gave me a little bit, but you didn't really give me what I asked for. So unless you want everybody to see these pictures, I suggest you go to HR and make an amendment to my contract. Okay? Can you do that? As long as you can do that, then look, as far as I'm concerned, that shit you see on your screen, it never happened. All right. So can you do that? And so, Gordon there's nothing he can do. These pictures these pictures would ruin his life and his reputation, his marriage, all of that. Okay. All of this shit hinges on these pictures. So he goes back to HR. He gets her the increase that she asked for, when she negotiated, gets her the money. He just does all these things or whatever. And he pulls these strings. He gets these exceptions made and they make this amendment. She gets this increase. And, she's like, fine, I will delete the photos and we're good. We're good. We are good as far as I'm concerned. All right. And, once she comes and talks to him, Gordon gets his shit together. He starts being respectful towards her. He starts including her on emails. He starts answering the questions that she's asking and just giving her what she needs that she can do her job. And let me tell you something, Davina does a damn good job. Like, she comes in that company and she really just turns things around. She has a presence about it. Like, she is securing new contracts, bringing in new people. She's just a breath of fresh air to like the stakeholders. Everybody is raving about her. Like, they just feel good about her presence, like her skill set is just like one of one. You know what I'm saying? Like, she come in and really just shut shit down. All right. Like, Gordon ain't got shit to say. And with all of this, like, she thrives in this position. She gets promoted within like 6 months. She's making even more money. And, she just had a plan after that. She was like, look, I'm not going to let Gordon run me up out of here. I'm going to turn this shit around on his head. And she does. She stays the company for 1.5 years. And then she takes that and goes and get an even bigger bag at an even bigger company. And, just continues to dominate. You know what I'm saying? So that's the story time. Davina went from one situation through a breakup to this situation rearing its head. And it's like, what are the chances of her sleeping with her boss while she is on vacation? But it happened and she made the best of it. You know what I'm saying? And all I can hope is that, honestly, women get put in some fucked up situations, where we're talked to any kind of way, we're treated any kind of way. And I just hope that women will speak up. I mean, obviously, it may not be to this extent where you slept with your boss and you have pictures that you took when you were drunk or inebriated, right? But I'm saying is that I hope that we will just continue to speak up and get the things that we have earned. You know what I'm saying? That are rightfully ours. All right. So I just wanted to say that. And it's a hell of a situation. I'm glad that everything worked out in Davina's favor, and that she was able to recover from that messy situation with Troy and Kia. With that's so trifling. That is so trifling. And here's the thing too about the Kia situation is like I said, they've had some very intimate conversations, and who knows, maybe even Kia had interest in Troy. You know what I mean? Because of the things that, Davina has said to her about him over the years. Who knows? But anyways, that's the story time, y'all. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. I appreciate you. I will see y'all in the next video. Make the best of the day. Be good to yourself, y'all. Peace.
I be beaming, I be booming down that block. Everywhere you go, they know I'm hot.